All right, we are back. Every other year in the city of Anaheim, the biggest Disney fan event comes to the Anaheim Convention Center, and this is it, D23 2026. Here we go. And today we're in a place we'd normally never find ourselves with all the pin people, because this one right here got a group 2 reservation.
Group 2.
Well, I was trying to give you the credit since you got up early both days in a row. Group 2 for one of the pins, so we get to get in this special line and try and get in nice and early. Isn't that right? And today you're dressed as your credential. That's your bounding outfit, yeah.
I'm surviving.
Cool camera there. I can't wait to see what you shoot on that. You're back at the D23 Expo. You're doing a little Haunted Mansion bounding, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's a pretty exclusive pin you got a couple of D23 Expos ago. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Concept art from the original attraction. Pretty cool. And you have, look at that, your Haunted Mansion bag.
Oh, yeah, Haunted Mansion bag.
The first year we came to D23 Expo, I think, was the second year they did it, and we didn't live down here yet. And they were like, people wear costumes, so I dressed as the Shadow Man. My dad was
all about the costumes, and we walked here from our hotel.
My dad was the Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb, and you dressed as a pirate. And we walked from our hotel, and we got to the line, and
well, we got to the front of the convention, there was all this crowd of people, and like people everywhere, and I'm just looking, I'm like, nobody is wearing a costume, and everybody's standing in line. What else do they have to do but stare at us in costume? And I was like, that's it, I'm going back to the hotel.
She went back and got out of costume, and my dad and I stayed in our costumes, proud but mighty. Okay, so because we're in this pin queue, we actually got to pre-line up in group number 2, but we're not that crazily into pins. We'd like to buy a couple. The doors are officially opening. There is not going to be mad chaos and pushing and shoving. No, there is not, right? Here we go. The mad dash past the Avatar booth. Goodbye, Avatar. We'll see you later. Yes. Walking.
In here, like,
we have.
close up, you have to be.
Here we go. I'm getting the cue to walk faster. I have to walk faster. I'm walking too slow, okay. All right, we've made it to our pin booth right here. Let's see what's inside. Not tall enough. We're almost there. Picking up one of these Pirates of the Caribbean lithographs and new pin technology. These are limited to 750, but these are actually record pins, a new line that they're starting where they play the music, Haunted Mansion music. They actually play musical pins and video pins are finally hitting the shelves. Pretty cool. This really awesome Steamboat Willie Main Street Cinema pin. It's only 100 made, and it plays music and video. And they have these packs which have pins from around each resort. All right, in the first booth we're going to be checking out Mundo, a Pixar experience. This one I actually do not know anything about, so I have no idea what we're getting ready to walk into. I think this one's gonna have a lot of great lighting design in there. What about you?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's gonna flop.
You think it's gonna flop?
I think we're gonna be mad we stood in line.
Uh-oh.
That's my guess.
Hey, nice camera.
We have 2 immersive worlds, only for D23 fans. This is just the beginning. The complete Mundo Pixar experience is coming to the US in 2027. Get ready to buckle up for the ride, follow the music, step inside the Scare Factory, take adventure to new heights, discover the Little Chef's kitchen, or dive in. Mundo Pixar Experience, US Tour 2027. All right, now step forward into Mundo Pixar.
Do you feel little?
Yeah.
You feel like the size of a toy? Look at the smiles on these guys. Oh, look at those big knobs there. Wow. Like this gigantically huge bed. Look at this thing. Holy cow. We're taking a picture? Okay. Like your little tiny little toy action figure. Look at that. Pretty cool. That's really effective, isn't it?
Yeah.
The fun shot
I
too.
bet if you took it up like that too.
Well, I was thinking you couldn't do this with this many people in here, but if you got up on a ladder and then had everyone lay on the floor, like the toys when they're like. So that's the very first room is, what's the name of the kid in Toy Story? Andy. Andy's bedroom, look at that. You like that? That's a good shot. That's a really good shot.
Next room.
The next room's dark. Oh.
I never saw this movie.
We're inside someone's brains right now. I don't know.
Riley's?
Yeah, I guess. You know the movie. All the memories here, the different colored memories from Inside Out.
It's a little atom or something in your brain.
In your brains. Wow, you're a crazy little one, aren't you? This is the Avatar booth here at D23. All the art from the world of Pandora, from their many, many films, including these life-size figures. Absolutely massive. How beautiful are these? The lighting design. Look at this thing. Look at this in here. Wow. Look at these small. It's all about the world of Pandora. Costume and props from multiple of the movies, specifically Way of Water and Fire and Ash, as well as a pretty good idea of what the theming and the environment is going to look like for the upcoming land in California Adventure. Some of the wardrobe and handheld prop pieces from the films. Oscar nominated and Oscar winning work here. Got some 3D glasses. We're going into some type of an experience here. This is new. They did have this booth last D23, but there was no 3D experience, so the glasses look good. You blend right in.
For our group to come in. Welcome my friends. Oh. Welcome back.
Wow.
How was that?
Dang, that was amazing.
3D has come a long way.
And when you exit out, they have this awesome display where you can see all the costumes and props and learn more about how they make the movies. You're learning a lot here.
Yeah, it's really neat.
It's beautiful stuff, isn't it?
It's beyond that. I don't even know how to describe it.
Wow. Now we got to go back to Disney World so you can see World of Pandora again, now that you know how...
right on that thing that scared me to death.
We are at the Pixar booth, which is a staple of D23, and Pixar is celebrating 40 years of animated movies, and the great thing Pixar always does with their booth is they show us all the concept art that the artists come up with before the movie is even in animation, so we get to see what all the different artist styles look like and some of the early concept work, everything from rough sketches from their iconic short films And look at all this incredible art from Cars. This stuff is absolutely beautiful. Art from The Incredibles and art from Ratatouille. And look at this great piece here. Not at all what the character ended up looking like, but so cool to see how the early development stages begin. And of course, right behind the Pixar booth is the Walt Disney Animation booth. They're here every year at D23, showcasing what's new around the studio, but also what they're celebrating as far as anniversaries for some of the films. And of course, the new movie they've announced this weekend is a movie called Hexed, which is an original animated film. Look at how cool some of the concept art for this looks. This looks like this is going to be a really fun one. Alice in Wonderland turning 75 this year, a big anniversary for a hip classic movie. One Dalmatians 65, Fox and the Hound 45, Beauty and the Beast only 35. Geez, I thought they were a little bit older. Of course, Atlantis, 25 years for Atlantis. And if you can believe it, Moana, 10 years. Same with Zootopia. Pretty big movie celebrating some pretty big anniversaries here at Walt Disney Animation Studios. This front display this is for that movie Hexed. Oh my gosh, they built this huge three-dimensional display with all kinds of extra props. Look at this. They went absolutely all out. One thing that never changes about a D23 Expo is the booth to see is the Imagineering booth. This year it's Imagineering Horizons. And this booth has grown drastically in scale and production design over the years. This is their biggest and best yet. It's a little busy in here.
Yeah.
It's popular.
What a great setup.
Yeah, it's beautiful. All right, now this is starting to preview and talk about the upcoming Coco attraction that's coming to Disney's California Adventure. And they have a little interactive element. What you're able to do is write a memory here on this card, and then they're gonna take all these memories from D23 this weekend, they're gonna put them in these boxes, and then these are going to get buried underneath a tree that they are going to be putting in the Coco area. So our memories of Disneyland and spending time with our family is going to help grow new memories once the Coco ride and the Coco area are opened in California Adventure. These two working away on their memories here. Cheyenne's got a lot to say there. Oh my goodness gracious. And probably one of the most talked about things at the past two D23s has been the new Avatar World of Pandora attraction and land that's coming to Disney's California Adventure. And they brought a scale model of it here to D23, and look at this thing. It is absolutely a massive installation. I'm sure there'll be a little bit more than this, but even if it's just this, that's going to be huge. And I had no idea that the monorail is going to be going through, or on the very edge of it at least. That is pretty cool. That's going to change some of the view of the monorail. And probably the most exciting, unique thing to see here this weekend is the Villains Land. Very, very early concept work, but look at this. They are working on it. It's not happening at this point. It looks further along than the Avatar stuff is. Look at these. Look at that. Wow. Look at how cool some of this concept art is. Wow. Absolutely epic. From what they were talking about yesterday, you're going to enter Villains Land via the Dark Forest, which I think is going to be a lot of these trees, and there's going to be a well, an evil well, that was so evil it's taken over all the villains, and you're going to walk through different layers of each villain and try and solve the mystery. It's gonna be pretty freaking cool. It's a long ways off, but at least they're working on it. Disney World, also in Frontierland, they're gonna be getting a new spin on Cars Land. And they got a big model here for us to get a little idea of what's coming. And by big, I mean absolutely massive. Look at this thing. Holy crap, this is absolutely huge. It takes up almost this entire room. And we're getting a pretty cool view here from behind the Haunted Mansion. Cool getting to talk to the Imagineer all about this. They have a heck of a lot going on. And apparently the very first attraction, which is a little smaller in size, is going to be right there where you first walk in. But the main attraction, which I think is going to be comparable to Radiator Springs Racers, but with new technology and a new twist, that one attraction spans both sides of the land. So as you can see, you're going to exit that building and you're going to race around through there. You even race around up through the mountain right there. And then from the mountain, you go over to this side of the land and you're going to race around all these little water installations, all kinds of stuff. Man, this thing is going to be absolutely massive. How cool. And of course, near and dear to my heart, happening over at Disney's Animal Kingdom, also my favorite park. They're expanding the story of Indiana Jones through Disney parks, and they're getting a brand new Indiana Jones attraction. Pretty amazing. You can really see it in this model, how the front of the attraction really has a face, 2 eyes and a mouth, even with teeth. Absolutely amazing. And they're going to be building this snake. Of course, you got to have a big snake on Indiana Jones, and they're building the biggest one they've ever built. Look at, in relation to that guy right there, it's absolutely huge. It's going to be pretty dang beautiful. Cannot wait to see this. Of course, one of the premier stores, the Walt Disney Mickey's at Glendale Imagineering store that they have on their campus in Glendale. And every D23, they pack it up and bring it to Anaheim. Tons of merch from Imagineering Horizons, their big booth showcase. And love them or hate them, you can't escape them. More Muppets. And the Mickey's at Glendale store always has Muppet stuff. But this is definitely an expansion of the collection. Muppet Studios. It's from the new attraction that they redid over in Hollywood Studios. You got all the classic Walt Disney Imagineering stuff. Look at this. A gigantic desk pad / mouse pad. Tons of little notebooks and their Sorcerer Apprentice Mickey pin. And they brought back their series Imagineer That. And apparently they got a bunch of merch for it. You know who that is?
I don't know his name, but I remember hearing Imagineer That.
Like from Disney Channel?
I don't know. I don't remember where I heard it. I just know I heard it.
That's Robot Bot. Bot the Robot. I have no idea. And of course, one of the main, most exciting stores to visit is the Walt Disney Company store. This is all the stuff from the various studios, and also the official store, which has the D23 Expo merchandise. Look at this Walt's Office collection. Certainly leather coaster is pretty cool. Some WED glasses. Look at this Walt's Office WED crossbody bag. That is pretty darn cool. Great picture, Walt, too. I like this display. They've plushified the Walt Disney Studios and the Disney Animation Building. Oh my God, what have they done? Look at that. And we got the company headquarters well represented here. More Walt's Office stuff. Boy, this is a whole dang collection. Water bottles, coasters, hats, t-shirts, Disney family crest on a magnet. Nothing like a little bit of Walt's chili. They got stickers. Pretty sure this is a magnet or a pin. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's a pin. Oh, that's super awesome. This is pretty cool. This is a pin push board. So you get a picture of Walt, you get a couple of the OG characters, and then you can buy these boxes here. They're mystery pin sets. You could get any one of those things in it. But I like this really cool pin board that you can add your pins to. How about that? It's pretty cool in this booth because they recreate a lot of the iconic things that they have around the studio a lot, including this big sign, which is at the end of the row, one of the sound stages. So it's kind of cool to see the mock setup of the studio lot here on the show floor. And there's a plushie of the same exact wall that's here in the booth, and a plushie of that balloon of the actual water tower. Look at who we ran into last D23. These two ladies were standing in line with us, and they said, you have to start vlogging. Do it.
Yes.
It took me a year.
We knew he
but I've been doing it. So
and
you
we
two.
love him, and we become family. Now
We are family, that's right, that's right. So now every we need to see you before the next D23.
Yes, for sure.
But every D23, it's our tradition now, we have to get together
that would be
and
great.
hang out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you guys posting stuff at the parks that people should be following or knowing about?
Junkie for
sort of?
Disney, but
Junkie for Disney, follow.
Yeah.
I'll link your page. I'll link
Okay,
your page,
thank
so
you so
give a
much.
follow. But thank you so much,
All right.
both of you, for the motivation.
We
It's
love
so
you.
good to see you. We love you guys. We love you guys.
Yes.
Thank you. D23 Marketplace, the marquee store for all things D23 merchandise. They've turned the Disneyland train and the Main Street trash cans into plushes. And even the popcorn carts have been turned into plush. 25th anniversary of Atlantis. Collectible dolls, but look at how amazing the packaging. Look at the box on this thing. Absolutely beautiful. Really cool art pieces over here. Rendering of Feed the Birds here from Mary Poppins. Look at that. Tony Baxter's Fantasy Square. Some more Tony Baxter art renderings here. And this is really cool. This is Discovery Bay, which is an unbuilt concept area for Disneyland. It's pretty similar to what they ended up with in Disneyland Paris. These are pretty cool. Hitchhiking Ghosts, Abominable Snowman, and then two from Pirates of the Caribbean. The dog with the key, of course, but this is a character you almost never see from Pirates of the Caribbean. The old drunkard with the meowing cats. That is actually really cool. Old Bill. Some really cool artist renderings. Nighttime, Walt's Lamp at the Main Street Fire Station, Cars Land with all the neon on, but probably the most unique and cool, Villains Promenade. Look at this. On Main Street, you got all the villains. Usually these are all the guys you see, or at least see on artwork for the Not So Scary and Oogie Boogie Bash parties. How cool. I really like these nighttime moments on Main Street. The best time to see Main Street is at night. Look at that. There's a little electrical light parade. Thank you. That's Mickey and Minnie looking into the windows at the Emporium on Main Street. And Walt Disney Imagineering has launched a new line of clothes that are kind of like hidden Disney. It's some of the textures and patterns of various projects they've done, but not super obvious. So it's like hip, trendy clothes you can wear. For example, this is some stuff from, I believe, one of the cruise ships. Look at this jacket right here. Definitely inspired by the Haunted Mansion Lounge on the cruise ship. We know that right there. That is absolutely awesome jacket. Wow, yeah, look at the front. Yeah,
so
definitely
cool.
Haunted Mansion inspired. How
And then
cool.
there's a matching hat.
Although these patterns are the same pattern on the jackets and the hats and the t-shirts, that every single one is unique because it's slightly placed a little different. So technically you are getting a unique item that is slightly different than all the rest. Kind of cool. All right, we couldn't resist. We're getting a jacket and a matching hat to share. Hopefully we'll be able to, we both tried it on. We think we wear about the same size in a Letterman jacket. Last D23 we bought the Headless Horseman and Mr. Toad Letterman, and boy does that thing get a lot of compliments. So let's see if this one is the same. Over here at the Her Universe booth, which is not something I am familiar with until now. Amazing Indiana Jones shirt. Oh my gosh, I'm definitely getting that. I was very tempted, but holding off on this Pirates of the Caribbean shirt. Look at how cool that is. I'm not gonna get it. I was very tempted, as I'm gonna try and see if I can convince Cheyenne to get this really awesome Jungle Cruise dress. Look at this thing. That is awesome. Brand that's new to me, Cakeworthy, has some Disney-inspired flannels. Look at that. They got a Pirates of the Caribbean, a Haunted Mansion. How cool. You got Toad, and a classic Mickey Mouse right there. Look at how awesome that is. Oh yeah, let's... Dead Men Tell No Tales on the back. That is awesome. Look at the bats down the sleeve. Chambers, no windows and no doors. Those are freaking awesome. And this year, the Walt Disney Archives is bringing us Uncrated. their exhibit showcasing all kinds of props and stuff from across all kinds of movies and shows. Pretty rare to see anything from the Rocketeer, but there's a jetpack from the Rocketeer. Look how awesome. This stuff they've been actually pulling out live on stage. They have a little stage here where they pull stuff out. So they've uncovered some of this stuff. Books from the Princess Diaries, Walt's travel bag from his office, Pirates of the Caribbean sword. And at the back of the booth, they have the magical relics. Warning area contains objects with magical powers. This is some of the extra cool stuff they have in this dark room. Night at the museum. I grew up on some Night at the Museum. That's really cool. And how amazing is this? From the Great Movie Ride. Man, I never got to ride it. I always wish I had. But what an awesome, iconic prop from the attraction. How cool. Night at the museum. The Walt's Hometown Museum in Marceline, Missouri, where Walt was born and raised. They are celebrating their 25th anniversary. They opened in 2001, celebrating all the stories of Walt and his family. And old downtown Marceline Main Street, of course, is what many believe he modeled Main Street, USA after. They have a whole big booth here with all kinds of cool stuff. That might be the tiniest model of a hearse I've ever seen. Look at that thing. It is itty bitty. Roy's Popcorn. Who knew he started in the popcorn business? Look how cool this is. A map of Walt's Los Angeles. I think I'm gonna have to get this. Of course, the original studios, various places that he lived, other studios. Look at how awesome this is. Tam O'Shanter's, that's right around where I live. This is extra cool. Massive model of one of Walt's homes. This is the last home that he lived in and where he was really able to expand his love for train. Look at that. Beautiful, huge backyard overlooking his beginning works of Disneyland, his train, personal train. Huge pool. Pixar ball. He was already thinking about Pixar way back then. Complete with the barn that started it all, which is now at Griffith Park. Walt's barn right there. That's where he started building trains. Lots of them. Built so many trains, his backyard ended up looking like this, with a bunch of trains that he and his family and friends could ride on. And kind of this house and this property is what really started the early ideas of having a Disneyland. Another angle of his barn that they eventually moved from this property to Griffith Park, where it sits today, open to the public. And all the way from Burbank, California, up at Walt's barn in Griffith Park, they brought this. Now, I saw this a few shows ago, 2019, it sounds like it was, when I saw this here on the show floor. So they've brought it back. Of course, it's a very fragile artifact from the old Disneyland Santa Fe line. They brought this thing, including props. I'm a sucker for a good prop. Look at this amazing artwork. That is so freaking cool. Opening day of the park, in use, pretty cool. All right, we were looking at some of the wannabe village pieces over at one of the stores, but this is legitimate. This is actual Haunted Mansion village pieces. Look at these. These are unbelievable. Disneyland. They even have Disney World here. So freaking cool. But you cannot resist this. The best of the best. Phantom Manor from Disneyland Paris. I must own that building right there. That is absolutely incredible. Next year, I'm ready to buy this one now. How cool is that? And over in the very back corner of the show floor, and I mean way back here, we have a fan builders attraction and a gigantic Lego model of a full ride-through of none other than Pirates of the Caribbean.
When that evil curse will strike the greedy beholders of this bewitched treasure.
Just like the ride, look at that. Amazing. Amazing. Very well done. Very well. Here's some absolutely amazing and unique products. Look at this from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. That is an absolute beautiful piece of work. The electric. Look at some of the packaging. The Nautilus box. It's the Haunted Mansion box. Look at this Walt Disney animation desk down to the colored pencils, piece of paper, clock, everything. Cream de la crop. Look at this thing. Absolutely beautiful. First of all, look at the stand. Absolutely beautiful. Tons of detail. Man, I love that. That is very cool. If you guys know anything about this vlog, we love filming amazing lighting, lights and lamp fixtures. How about an actual light fixture from the Hollywood Tower Hotel? And I love the background art incorporating some of that amazing lighting they have in the lobby. Man, I miss this right here on the West Coast. A lot of other cool little displays sitting around it, but that lamp would be absolutely amazing hanging in a dining room. That is incredible. Attraction I know something a little bit about after working on it for 2 years. Here's some of the seats. This would be fun in like a movie theater or something. A little bit more comfortable when you don't have a row right in front of you. Look at this. This one actually has the wheels and a little bit of the rails underneath it for display. Pretty cool. A little piece of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. One of my absolute favorite parts in the Haunted Mansion is the cemetery scene, and specifically the mummy who sits in his coffin and talks to that guy using the old hearing megaphone weird device. Here's a original coffin prop from that, pretty cool. And an original mummy prop from Indiana Jones. Another attraction I worked on 2 or 3 years and know something quite a bit about. That would actually be pretty freaking cool to have. It'd be a hard decision between that mummy or this from the Haunted Mansion. Pretty cool. Some old school DCA stuff here. Look at the Ferris wheel. My gosh, these are like the old boardwalk days before it was Pixar. That sun logo, that was like OG. Look at the Maliboomer. Remember that classic drop attraction over in the corner, like old school amusement park? Back before they kind of made it a little bit more Disney unified. That's some old school stuff. Some props from one of the rides over there. And it's not a true day with Gibson's Explorer Society unless we end up at a tiki bar. And how lucky are we? There's a tiki bar on the middle of the show floor at D23 this year.
Of sorts.
Perfect way to end the day. Look, they even came in little tiki cups. Cheers.
How pretty they are. Yours has rosemary too.
Yeah, look at that.
I'm
Very
jealous.
nice. Oh, mine's good. How's yours?
Lemony.
Yours is lemony?
I hope I'm not going to have remorse.
Wow.
Right?
Whoa. Yeah, that is like a very, 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 very hard.
Oh, that's way better.
You like this better, huh? Here, drink mine.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make you drink this.
This has like a smoky flavor in it. Well, let's share. I'll have a couple more
That
sips
has
of that.
tea in it.
All right, well, that's gonna do it for another year at the D23 Expo here at the Anaheim Convention Center. What'd you think this year?
I thought it was great.
What was your favorite part?
Oh, the Avatar experience where you walk through and see the 3D movie, and then specifically the costumes that they had on display were amazing.
Oh my goodness, D23, good to see you. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and following along. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
We have to talk like this because you do. Because you're tiny. Look at your tiny hands and your tiny hair. I'm tiny.